On Friday, top White House economic advisor Cecilia Rouse said that the country's economic-related pandemic woes are not as bad as they could have been. In a virtual meeting, she was joined by Gene Sperling, who is the coordinator of the White House's American Rescue Plan. Sperling and Rouse agree that Biden's policies helped prevent scarring or permanent damage to the people's personal finances and the overall economy. Sperling cited the newly created rental assistance program. It's designed to prevent foreclosures. He said similar programs assisted the poor, allowing for a more equitable recovery.
President Biden is really focused on generating and promoting an economy that has sustainable growth that is widely shared.
While Republicans supported some of the pandemic stimulus payments, they repeatedly warned that the government needs to rein in the trillions of dollars in spending. The GOP continues to say that massive spending bills only have contributed to the rising inflation. In addition to those soaring gas prices, we're also seeing skyrocketing natural gas prices. This is causing Americans, especially in warm southern states, to pay more for electricity. To break down the reason behind these price hikes and what we can expect to see in the coming months, we're happy to bring on the president of Whaley Energy Consulting, Don Whaley. Don Whaley, thank you so much for joining us again on the Capitol Report.
It's great to be here. Thanks.
So, Don, we're seeing gas prices go up every day. Lately, we're seeing $5 as the national average. Some anticipate it could get up to $6 a gallon. What do you think about this? Do you think we've reached the peak? How high do you anticipate these prices to go?
That's a question for which I'd need a much clearer crystal ball. I don't know that we've necessarily seen the top, unfortunately. We spoke about, in past conversations, we've talked about the Biden administration release of the Strategic Oil Reserve, which is a drop in the bucket, and it's had no impact as I kind of expected at the time. But there's no immediate fix because a lot of production that could have come on has been repressed or suppressed, and pipelines that could have brought in additional supplies have been canceled. And so we are where we are. It's a supply-demand crunch, and we're just going to have to live through it.
And in addition to those gas prices, we also, specifically in your state, you say you're seeing an increase in consumer electricity prices. Now, you're in the electricity business. I want to get your response to the recent report that we could see blackouts this summer due to extreme weather and drought, especially in states like Texas. Is this something you're concerned about, Don?
I don't know that blackouts are necessarily in the cards in Texas. I think high prices certainly are. After the winter storm of 2021 in Texas, blackouts are always in the headlines and they're always in conversation. But I think the larger issue is going to be, again, pricing. Electricity in Texas ties to natural gas. Natural gas prices are at not historic levels, but they're the highest we've seen in decades, or in a decade or two. And they haven't shown any real signs of relenting. And when natural gas prices go up, electricity prices go up in Texas. We've seen natural gas go up 165% in the last 12 months. And electricity in Texas has doubled since the start of the year. And so people are scrambling for suppliers and prices they can afford to pay.
So what is the real issue here? I know you mentioned it has to do with natural gas there. What's driving these higher prices that we're seeing in the electricity?
Well, prior to the fracking boom and the boom in natural gas production in the U.S., natural gas was largely a domestic product. We imported liquefied natural gas to supplement our domestic supply. Since the uptick in production, we've turned those plants around. We're now exporting LNG to the world. And so it's become much more of a globalized commodity. And with the issues in Ukraine, with the Russian gas supply being cut off or diminished into Europe, the demand for LNG in those countries and in Asia has gone up dramatically. And again, the current administration's assault on oil and gas has pushed production of natural gas down. Now, the industry's starting to respond. We're starting to see productivity come back up. We're at about 95 billion cubic feet of gas a day. But unfortunately, we're lagging behind where we need to be for storage for the winter, which will have a profound impact on the Northeast if we don't catch up, because as you know, natural gas is a primary source of heating fuel for the Northeast during the wintertime.
So that leads me to my next question. You're saying that the Northeast could even be impacted. You're based in Texas, so this is what you're speaking to right now, the consumer electricity prices there in Texas. So from what I'm hearing from you, it sounds like that you do expect to see a price increase in the northeastern area if you all aren't able to get back to the production levels that you were at before. Is that correct?
No, that's absolutely correct. As I said, I mentioned storage. We store natural gas in ground through the course of the summer into the early fall, and that gives us additional deliverability for the wintertime when demand spikes for heating in the Northeast. And right now, we're behind where we were last year, but more importantly, we're about 350 billion cubic feet behind where the 5-year average. And we need to catch up, because if we're lagging behind, then prices are going to stay up, and prices at the home for heating in the Northeast this winter are going to be profound. So I think that this is a supply-demand crunch, and if the load side starts to drop off, if people use less electricity, if they use less gasoline, then that supply-demand push, which has been driving it up, will start to reverse itself. But it's going to take some, I think, consumer discipline and behavioral changes, because we're a ways. These are not things that you can turn in a dime from the supply side. You can affect the load side pretty quickly if you get the message out that the best way to drive prices down is just use less.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Don, for joining us today. Great to have you.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.
President Biden's approval rating has dipped to its lowest point this month. This is according to a poll from the Associated Press. It shows that only 39% of U.S. adults approve of Biden's performance. According to the poll, 2 out of every 10 adults said this month that the U.S. is heading in the right direction, or that they think the economy is good. This is down from the 3 in 10 adults last month. The change of mind is mainly coming from Democrats. 33% are saying the country is headed in the right direction, and that's down from the nearly 50% who said so back in April. Biden's overall approval rating among Democrats is now at its lowest point. Down from 82% in 2021, it's now at 73% in this latest poll. Trump's lawsuit against Hillary Clinton got a boost. A single testimony revealed that Hillary Clinton approved the plan to give allegations against Donald Trump to the media ahead of the 2016 election. Clinton's campaign manager Robbie Mook, testifying in federal court, said, "We told her we have this and we want to share it with a reporter. She agreed to that." The allegations appear to show a secret back channel between Trump's business and Russia's Alpha Bank. Former FBI lawyer James Baker yesterday testified that the Bureau investigated the allegations and found that, quote, "there was nothing there." Baker said he would have acted differently if he knew Hillary Clinton was behind the claims. Former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio announced that he will run for Congress.
I do know how to do it from years of serving the people of this city. And so today I'm declaring my candidacy for Congress in the 10th Congressional District of New York.
The 61-year-old Democrat first made the announcement in an interview on MSNBC's Morning Joe. He's running for District 10, which stretches from Lower Manhattan to Brooklyn. De Blasio served as mayor for 2 terms, and he also ran for president in 2020. A bipartisan group of senators is pushing to break up big tech's monopolistic hold on digital advertising. They're introducing the Competition and Transparency in Digital Advertising Act to limit the role of companies like Google in digital advertising. This act would prohibit Google from using its software on both the selling and buying side of the advertising transaction. Republican Senators Mike Lee and Ted Cruz and Democratic Senators Amy Klobuchar and Richard Blumenthal are behind the bill. In a statement, Lee said that leading platforms like Google or Amazon have been able to, quote, manipulate ad auctions. Limiting the company's ability to participate in advertising transactions would also limit their profits and potentially cause the companies to break up. The Lincoln Memorial will welcome its 100th anniversary by the end of this month. Special events are set to honor President Lincoln and this unique building. The National Park Service will hold a free public event this Sunday at 10 a.m. A century ago, Henry Bacon designed the building to look like a Greek Doric temple. It uses materials from all across the country and draws out Lincoln's role as the great uniter.
Massachusetts granite is used on the stairs. There is marble from Georgia that's used to construct the statue itself. The exterior walls are from Colorado, Yule marble. The ceiling tiles are from Alabama.
Mike Litterist from the National Park Service says the Lincoln Memorial has become a significant gathering place for celebrations and demonstrations, particularly those related to civil rights. It's open 24/7, and this is the most visited memorial in the nation's capital. More than 8 million people come each year.